Hello and welcome to JSB Talks Digital, the podcast for marketers, digital transformation champions, and those of you bringing your skills into the digital age. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke and this podcast is brought to you by Digital Training Institute. In this episode, number 109, I'm talking about WordPress websites and hacks to help you double your web traffic. In social media news, new LinkedIn features are rolled out, Skype adds a call recording feature, and Facebook is testing AR ads in Newsfeed. I interview Nathan Bradley from Wheezy Peasy, a WordPress support company. In shoutouts, 3 WordPress plugins I cannot live without. Ask JSB in JSB's column, wow your web visitors with these WordPress tips. And find out what social media tool saved my working week.
Social media news.
LinkedIn has rolled out a raft of new and exciting features. Writing on their blog, they say they want to make it easier for us to make connections and have conversations with our peers. There are 5 new important features which I cannot wait to test out. Following in Facebook and YouTube's footsteps, LinkedIn now offers the capability to add closed captions to videos. You can do it natively on the platform by uploading an SRT file. We also now have the ability to highlight a quote from a LinkedIn article on mobile and share it directly with our network in the feed. Thirdly, we also have the ability to save posts as drafts and post them later. Many of us do business globally, so seeing and engaging with posts from peers in any country and in any language is also now possible with their new translations feature. And finally, you can now access the content you've created in one place. You'll find it on desktop. Simply click on the Me tab and voila, it's all there. Skype has finally added a recording feature, but is it too late? I've already jumped over to Zoom for my meetings and webinars because of its recording feature. On the cusp of its 15th birthday, Skype announced the built-in call recording feature, which is cloud-based. This means that all call recordings are stored on cloud servers and not on your desktop. Facebook is testing augmented reality ads in Newsfeed. As these AR ads are in the testing phase, only users in the US will see them for the time being. The new feature allows users to try on the products that are advertised through a process similar to that of a Snapchat filter.
Interview.
In this episode, I interview Nathan Bradley, co-founder of Wheezy Peasy. An experienced front-end developer and WordPress lover for over 9 years, Nathan is a child of the 80s and he grew up in a world of computers. He found his flair for websites at an early age, and this passion carried through to a master's degree in creative advertising. With experience working in top-end London advertising agency Leo Burnett and marketing agencies where he's helped hundreds of businesses build their online assets, he's then actually turned them into fully fueled marketing machines. Now he's turning that passion into a new mission, and that is to help business owners get their websites up to the right standard and in turn turn it into assets. In this interview, I talked to Nathan about Wheezy Peasy and how they're trying to become your number one go-to WordPress expert.
JSB Talks Digital.
Nathan, I'm so glad to have you on the podcast. We speak regularly because we do business together, but today you're in the hot seat. You're welcome to JSB Talks Digital.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Joanne. Great to be here.
So tell me a little bit about your background. I know that you've been creating websites from an early age, but Do you still enjoy that work as much as you did back then? Because things have changed so much.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the beauty of websites and indeed the internet. You think you've learnt it all and you're the best at what you do, and then new things come out and the rules change and there's new challenges to be conquered. So, yeah, it's constant learning, which is kind of the fruit of life, really, and I enjoy it tremendously.
Now, you're an expert in WordPress sites, which is fantastic. I've been using WordPress sites for the past 10 years. And I think it's really important that we have somebody on our team that is that expert. How important is it to have somebody that is checking in on your site on a daily or at least a weekly basis?
It's one of those things that's easy to forget. If you're serious about your website and your online presence, then not keeping an eye on your website, it's like not keeping an eye on your kids. Things change, especially these days with automatic updates and plugins updating by themselves, and then suddenly, you get a phone call from a client or a potential client and say, I tried to sign up, but your website's broken. And you go, oh, bloody hell. I wish I knew about that earlier, because you wouldn't have potentially lost the customer there. So it's absolutely vital in this day and age to have somebody just dropping in from time to time to go, yeah, that's as it should be. Case in point, this morning, I come into the office and I was running over some checks on a website, and while this lady's website wasn't down, all of the styling had gone, so it was just a white screen with black text. No one knew anything about it. And only after some digging did we find out that the host company had done some updates their side over the weekend, failed to tell any of their customers that they'd done some updates, and it caused this devastating effect to the look and feel of the website. But had we have not checked in, it could have been a week or a month before somebody raised it.
And probably a customer realising it for the first time, right?
Yeah, then you'll hopefully that customer's nice enough to give you a call and say, hey, there's something wrong with your website. But people aren't like that. They're just going, oh, this is crap, and they'll move on.
So what about those of us that are self-taught and, we haven't have the years of experience that you have, or even the academic and professional training? Do people like us make you nervous?
Clients and customers come in many shapes and sizes. You have those that are keen to learn and get on with it. And case in point, Joanne, you're fantastic, because you kind of know what you want to achieve, and you do the input that you're asked for, and then you let the expert get on with it. Then you do have people that tinker around, hit go, publish, and that's the beauty of WordPress. It is so easy to do things and get things live, but then they forget about it, and then they move on, and they come back and go, oh, this isn't working, and they go, oh, it's not my fault, and they try and blame everyone under the sun apart from themselves. So sometimes even just asking the right questions before you go ahead and make a mess, as we refer to it, is more helpful than throwing the blame around.
Well, I wasn't fishing for a compliment, but thanks anyway for the compliment. I will take it. Let's talk about the importance of speed. And Google announced in January that from this month that they would actually be looking at speed as a ranking factor in search engine results pages. So, one of the beauties of WordPress are plugins. There are over 50,000 plugins in the WordPress directory, but plugins slow down your website, don't they?
Absolutely. It's one of those things that in the early days, speed wasn't a factor. Everybody was on their desktop and you got the internet that you were provided. Nowadays, we've got the freedom of our mobiles, the 3G and the 4G networks are everywhere, and with 50% of traffic over the internet on mobile devices, the importance of your site being able to load quickly for all users, not just desktop users, is absolutely vital. And you're quite right. Google have recently announced their latest update, which they're calling their speed update. But they're not sugarcoating it. The algorithm now includes major speed factor results because Google's job is to deliver the best result to their customers, the searchers. So if your website is not going to deliver quickly enough for their customers, your ranking is going to be hurt. And you'll see lots of figures and stats around. And one of the biggies to remember is for every second that your website takes to load, you lose 11% of your page views. For every second that your website takes to load, you lose 7% in conversion. I don't know about you, Joanne, but can you afford to lose 7% of your customers? I know I can't.
Absolutely not. Let's talk about the power of WordPress as a platform to, turn it into your 24/7 shop front and your e-commerce portal. It really is robust, isn't it, as a business platform?
Absolutely. It's one of those. WordPress went out and said, we are an open source platform from the beginning. And that gave rise to the 50,000 plugins that you mentioned earlier, because any developers, anybody can develop additional function for WooCommerce and plumb it in with ease. And WooCommerce is one of the leaders there. They've been around for almost as long as WordPress. The ability just to click, install, and go and set up some products. You've got the power to start selling online and turn your website from a portfolio, nice look-at-me site into a functional money-making machine, while being able to customize every aspect of the journey and the look and feel is priceless.
Now, I've previously done an episode on how to build funnels for, online conversions. And that's one of your skill sets. One that I particularly enjoy is how you build out customer funnels with the customer in mind and building it with automation in mind. There's so much that you can do, isn't there, to actually sell online?
Absolutely. We have moved beyond the days now of, here's my shop, please buy. Everybody was able to do that 10 years ago. So we have to step up our game and keep up as marketers and business owners. And we have to drive the sales. We have to encourage and coax people to the sale. And I say, on average, it takes 11 points of contact before you actually convert a lead into a customer. So I don't know about you, Joanne, but I don't have time to contact people 11 times on a manual basis. I'd much rather have the machine do it for me.
Absolutely, so. and that's what we're currently building together for public sector marketing pros. Now, let's turn our attention to Wheezy Peasy. First of all, I just want to know where you got the name, because it's easy peasy to remember.
That's quite right. It is WordPress, so WP as it's hyphenated and known as around the world. WordPress, easy peasy. Give you Wheezy Peasy.
And where did the idea for the business come from?
So we are an agency, and we specialize in building and designing new websites for customers all around the world. The benchmark, though, is that the new websites come at a high cost. It's a big project. We're getting plenty of people come through and just say, I just need a little bit of help here. I've got my site this far, and there's this error, or I just need this moving around and updating. How do I do it? We just felt terrible that we didn't have the time to dedicate to those people. So we thought, we're missing a trick here. And we've pulled it together, we've dedicated some assets into our resources, and we've made that small, low-level access available. So for those that just need a little bit of input, and just need some advice or some stuff doing for them that's not going to take days and days and cost thousands of pounds. It's simply, I just need an hour of an expert's time. He gives a hand. Sure thing. Here we go.
And of course, you're providing that essential service in terms of backups, WordPress, plugin updates, and hopefully preventing any possible security hacks as well.
Absolutely. We thought, right, we've got the experts here. We can provide support and we can do the updates and make changes to any website that comes our way. But I was like, how can we make this offering even better? I was like, well, every website needs to have a few fundamentals covered. It needs to be backed up regularly. It needs to be protected from hackers and firewalls. These just simple things that people miss out. They say, oh, I've got my website done, and suddenly a hacker comes along and brings the whole thing down. We had a poor gentleman, Phil. We did some work for him on his website over the years. He'd spent thousands on a large e-commerce site, and it was his main bread and butter. And he was spending hundreds of pounds a week on Google ads and paid advertising. Until one weekend, unfortunately, it got hacked, and it brought the site down. And he contacted us and said, oh, guys, wouldn't happen to have a backup of my site, would you? Unfortunately for Phil at the time, we weren't hosting his site. He had it elsewhere with a cheaper provider. And there was nothing we could do. We had nothing for him. Like, sorry, Phil, we didn't build your site. We've just kind of been in and tweaked it when you requested. Long story short, his host didn't have a backup, and he was done for. And it took him 2 months and thousands of pounds more to get a new website back up and running and restore his online business.
Wow.
Whereas if he'd had a backup and security from the initial get-go, he would have had his insurance policy of a backup there ready to go, and it'd be back up on the same day. So it's those sort of fundamentals we want to make sure that everyone's covered, and you're not losing sleep over the unknown.
And I guess the moral of the story is don't be like Phil and make sure that you have that service, because I think it's like, I'm not sure if this analogy is a good one or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's almost like having a 99 without the flake, right? It's just incomplete.
Oh, and a bit of sauce.
Well, okay, maybe the analogy was not good, because then if you want sprinkles on it, then it's very incomplete. But basically what we're talking about is having that service where you've got a website, but you've got to make sure that it's speaking to the customer because it's live, it's speaking to Google because it's optimized and the speed is fast, and also that you're preventing any hacks. So where can people find out more about Wheezy Peasy, Nathan?
Okay, as you say, Joanne, it's an interesting spelling on Wheezy Peasy there. So the website is wheezypeasy.support.
Thank you so much for joining me on JSB Talks Digital, and no doubt we will talk again very soon.
Thank you for having me, Joanne.
Shoutouts.
In this part of the show, I give shout-outs to brands, organisations or individuals whose work online is remarkable and worth talking about. In this episode, I'm sharing my 3 favourite WordPress plugins right now, which are helping me to scale my business online.
1.
LearnDash is a premium WordPress learning management system. It comes with multi-tier courses, which allow you to easily create courses with lessons, topics, quizzes, and categories. It has a drip feed content feature, so you can schedule course content for the entire course duration. There are also multiple payment gateways available to accept payments like PayPal, Stripe, or Checkout, and it integrates beautifully with bbPress and other WordPress plugins. Find out more at learndash.com.
2.
Beaver Builder is an intuitive drag and drop page builder plugin for WordPress that aims to help you build custom web pages in minutes. Beaver Builder uses the best SEO standards such as code compression and schema.org, among others, to ensure the pages you create are easy to find in search engines. Find out more at wpbeaverbuilder.com.
3.
ActiveMember 360 is a WordPress plugin that turns any WordPress site into a fully fledged advanced membership site. It comes with a load of features, including customization, and it's all driven by ActiveCampaign, a CRM system. ActiveMember 360 also comes with a built-in extension for Learn-LMS. Find out more at activemember360.com.
Ask JSB.
In today's Ask JSB, Ian Anderson Gray, live content creator, asks if you can have too many plugins. Did you know there are over 50,000 WordPress plugins? With speed being a significant ranking factor and also the main factor for site visitors, you'll want to see if your plugins are slowing down your site. You begin losing visitors if the site takes more than 2 to 3 seconds to load. Another issue, Ian, is the compatibility of plugins. Many of us have experienced this problem when one plugin fails to work because it conflicts with another, and then you're trying to find out which one. Finally, I would say the more plugins you have installed, the higher the risk it is of one of those plugins having a security hole that a hacker could exploit to infiltrate and infect your website. My best advice is to do a monthly speed report and an audit of your plugins. Lucky for me, I've got a company to do it for me, and trust me, it's worth every penny. If you have a digital marketing or social media question, don't forget you can have it answered on the show. Use the hashtag AskJSB on Twitter or Instagram, or leave me a voicemail at digitaltraininginstitute.ie/AskJSB. And of course, you can post a message on any of our social networks.
JSB's column.
In today's JSB's column, I share WordPress tips to help double your website traffic. Speed is one of the main factors when it comes to attracting constant traffic to your website. Check your mobile speed with Google's speed test tools that indicate how well a page performs on the Chrome UX report, and it also helps suggest performance optimization tips. I have the link to the Page Speed Insights test on the blog post associated with this podcast. Producing quality content is really important for Google. It loves really great quality, optimized content. So make that a priority over the quantity of content you are sharing on your website. Last year, Google found me and hired me because of the quality content that I produce for digitaltraining.ie. And so that demonstrates that it works. Make sure that you optimize every website landing page. My favorite tool for this is the Yoast SEO WordPress plugin. SEO doesn't have to feel like rocket science. The Yoast SEO plugin uses a traffic light system to optimize each page. It covers everything from your slug to metadata, headers, subheaders, and subtitles. And of course, your H1s, H2s, and subtitles are some of the biggest indicators Google takes into consideration when it comes to SEO keywords. Trust me, there's nothing like the feeling of getting a full set of green lights when your blog post is fully optimized. Let's move on then to backing up your site. Daily backups, along with completing WordPress updates regularly, will help avoid a slowdown in your site, plugin conflict, and potential hacks. Another great tip is to build backlinks. External links that come back to your own website do so much more to boost your SEO rankings. But don't forget, internal links are also a great place to start. As you're producing content, take the time to link back to things that you've written in the past, especially popular or useful things that already exist on your website. This practice will also make it easier for search engines such as Google to locate new content as you produce it. Don't forget to fix broken links. Backlinks are great, but they won't help if they're broken. Make sure that links to your website are current and accurate, especially if you've completed a recent site migration or changed your directories. Video is also very powerful when it comes to optimization and attracting more web traffic. Embedding rich media, including videos, makes a significant difference. Responsive web design is a setup where the server always sends the same HTML code to all devices, and CSS files are used to alter the rendering of the page on the device. So whether it's a mobile, a tablet, a laptop, or a desktop, your website should respond to the device that your site visitor is viewing it from. It also helps Google's algorithms automatically detect the setup if all Googlebot user agents are allowed to crawl the page and its assets. In 2017, mobile traffic made up 53% of global online traffic. This further proves how much people are using their smartphones over their desktop devices. Mobile traffic is expected to rise to almost 80% by the end of 2018. So make sure that you make responsiveness and speed a priority. If you want to discuss your web marketing strategy, then get in touch. Drop me an email to joanne@digitaltraining.ie.
Social media tool of the week.
The social media tool that saved my working week this week is, of course, Wheezy Peasy. I have my own websites and a client site using the service. Speed was an issue for my site, and with their package, they drastically improved it. I also receive a monthly personalised website status report, giving me a breakdown of how my website is performing. Nathan and his team continue to monitor my site and apply any necessary updates or improvements that it needs. Find out more about their packages at wheezypeasy.support, and let me spell that for you, WEASIPEASI.support. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 109 of JSB Talks Digital. If you're a regular listener, I would love a review. As always, I have everything discussed on today's show on my award-winning blog over at digitaltraining.ie. Don't forget, we're now on Google Podcasts, reaching more Android users. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. And don't forget to press the subscribe button. If you're interested in becoming a digital marketing pro and work in the public sector, be sure to check out my new accredited diploma in digital communications for public sector. Doors open September 3rd, and you can find out more at publicsectormarketingpros.com/diploma. Between now and next week's show, don't forget you can get in touch with me on social media. Send me a tweet to @tweets by JSB, post a comment on our Facebook page, Digital Training Institute. You can also snap me to JSB Snaps, or why not send a fun boomerang to JSB Grams. I'm Joanne Sweeney Burke. This is JSB Talks Digital. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.
JSB Talks Digital.